every voice, every vote. West Philly Voices.
Yeah. Jimmy. Lights, camera, action. Some people thought I quit and I ain't giving satisfaction. From a different era, writing rhymes up on napkins. What you had to say was more important, man, than trapping. Yeah, I'm talking back then, and speaking of contemporary. Gotta spit the truth, for the lies they attempt to bury. Why we always make the music, gotta make the club empty. Man, to make it cough then give you some substance. Won't you hear the music, you know just what the difference is. Hide the similarities, attenuate your differences. Told the homie P, everything has a place and a time. So when we make them bang their head, make sure we feeding their mind. See you listening to a man who used to live about the stories. I let you buy the bar, I gotta pay off my mortgage. Jimmy Barnes, man, intrusive. Stay up on some new shit, stay up in some new kicks, stay about the news clips.
What's good, family, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Bond's Podcast right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia. What's good, family? What's good? Ty, we got another episode, bro.
Yes.
I'm happy about this, man. I'm really happy about this. Okay. Remember, family, you call us with your comments and your questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And again, fam, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Jimmy Bonds Podcast, on Twitter at Podcast Bonds. Make sure you join the Jimmy Bond Podcast Facebook group. Let's continue to open the dialogue. Moving right along, family. Tonight, we have a special guest. We have a couple special guests.
Yes.
But this is pertaining to our project here at WPEB, Every Voice, Every Vote, which is very important. It's very vital. It's one of those things that, you know, people don't like to talk about voting. They think it's too much people trying to influence them to vote. But I think this is a very important conversation we have to have, not just for our community, but for the people we service on a daily basis. So tonight we have some local guests, local leaders. I'm super excited to have her on, Ty. Super excited to hear her perspective.
Yes.
But before we introduce our guests and our team that's here with us today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about just our project and what we're doing. Every Voice, Every Vote. I think it's a very important project because a lot of times people don't think voting is. People think, you know, I don't want to vote because nothing's going to change, and I think that's an ill-advised way of thought. I think you have to really think about more than just going to the ballot and checking off some names in a box and then putting it in a box. It's way more than that. It's not just that. There's a lot that goes on even after that and even before that. So the whole voting thing and the whole even elections and considering candidates is a bigger thing than just let me check this box. I know these people. Let me go put this in the box, right? So what I thought was important was that we pick some different subjects pertaining to voting itself. So over the course of this project, family, we're going to be talking about local leadership, which we have here tonight. We're going to be talking about affirmative action. We're going to be talking about healthcare. We're going to be talking about education. We're going to be talking about the youth vote and why that's important and why a lot of times people don't focus on the youth vote. But I thought it was important to talk about all these aspects of voting because voting has many components and not just one thing, right? So, with that being said, I want to introduce our guest tonight, who I'm so humble and thankful to come on the show, Ty. Miss Liana Roadcloud, family. She's in the building. If you don't know who Miss Liana Roadcloud is, she's the vice president of the Yeadon Borough City Council. She's been serving since 2020. And I had a chance to actually have a conversation with her offline. And I found this woman to be dynamic, entertaining, knowledgeable, substantive, important, vital, crucial, and open. Very much authentic as well. Let me not forget that. So, family, she is definitely one of the type of people that you see people in the community, activists, and they always wonder how come they'll never get on. But Miss Liana worked hard and she got her seat. So I want to welcome her to the show, Miss Liana Roadcloud. Welcome to the show, Miss Liana. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, listen. No, it's a pleasure. We are very humble to have you on tonight. Thankful that you took the time out to talk to us. So tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about, leadership and what's it mean for voting, I guess, in your leadership capacity. How from your perspective as a leader in the community, why is voting important?
Voting is very important because it deals with every aspect of your life, especially your local government. Your local government dictates your immediate lifestyle, your quality of life, your education, everything about your everyday life starts with your local government.
Do you think people don't view it as important as, say, the national aspect of it?
I don't believe they do.
Here's my thing, Ty, and we can talk about this all the time.
Yes.
You can walk down the street and ask somebody. Me and Brother Dave was talking about this yesterday. You can walk down the street and ask somebody, who is your local state rep? Not a clue. Who's on your city council? Not a clue. Mm-hmm. They might know the mayor or the DA for that matter. They know the DA mostly because of crime, right?
Right.
They don't know who the solicitor is. They don't know who the tax collector is. They don't know even the sheriff. They have no clue who they are. But these are the people that are more important even than your congressperson, even than your governor, even the president. These people that you don't know are the people that you can connect with one-on-one in your own community to get you the resources that you need. And a lot of times, people don't know. They're not interested. They don't really care. And it's like, how can you not care about your own livelihood? You know, even from jobs and wages and everything like that. How can you not care about it? But that's what I find a lot of people just don't know who their representative is. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure that it's because they don't care. I believe that a lot of people are reactive.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think about it until they need something. And I feel that's why a lot of people kind of just go about their everyday life and not really think about things until something comes up. Something as simple as you apply for a job and then they asked you for a copy of your Social Security card.
Right.
A lot of people don't. The younger folks don't have it.
No, they don't.
For
You're
some
right.
reason. I don't know why.
You're
I
right.
still have mine, the original, and I'm a little up there.
Ty, you got the original too.
Yes.
You got the OG joint, huh? The one with the typed numbers on it, not the printed numbers, the typed numbers, right? All right. With some yellow, like I know what you're talking about. But so I mean, because I hear this all the time, right? You know, I don't know who my local leader is. You know, they're not going to do anything anyway. They're all the same. When you hear that, what is, as a leader in your standpoint, what does that make you think that they think that all, you know, local leaders or even local politicians are the same?
When I hear that personally, it bothers me a great deal.
Why is that?
Because they're not all the same. You have people who talk the talk,
Yeah.
and the others walk it.
Yeah.
So they're not the same.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of the ones that do a lot of talking and watch the ones that are very quiet, because it's the quiet ones that are actually behind the scenes making a difference.
Getting the work done.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, in saying that, you know, a lot of local leaders, you know, they do things for the camera. When the cameras come, they ready to show.
Yes.
And that's just, you know, from my years of working in a newspaper, that's something I've always noticed. When the cameras come or the media comes, they button up, you know, suit right, everything looks correct. But when that's gone, they off doing something else. You know, they're off not assisting the people in the community that need the help. And I always thought that was something it always rubbed me the wrong way. But I understood how they felt about their position, you know, and why I guess they didn't have to answer to anybody in a sense, you know. And that's something I always feel like as leaders, maybe they're not aware of the fact that people are watching them on a continuous basis, or maybe they're not. It's not concerning to them, you know. So it just always made me feel like they're not for the people as much as some people say they're for the people.
Well, that's absolutely true. A lot of times they're not for the people. And they only have that sense of, I can do what I want, I don't have to answer to anyone, is because the people do not understand the power that they actually hold.
Ain't that what I say all the time?
Yeah.
And so in saying that, Miss Liana, I stress the importance of how much your vote matters and why you need to demand more for your vote. Not just be like, okay, well, I'm going to go vote these people and get elected. They need your vote to get elected. So if they need your vote to get elected, we as constituents have to understand we have more power than what we even realize. We put these people in office. And if we put them in office, then it's our job to also hold them accountable. Now, that's just my opinion, Ty.
Right.
You know, that's just me being me. That's how I am. Some people don't think like that. Right. You know, some people think, okay, they're in office, they're going to do their job. But you see, I don't trust people, right? And I don't mean that in a real negative way. I don't trust people in the sense of I can't trust you. I can't trust what you're going to say until I see you do something. So you might tell me that you want to fix up the roads, get all the potholes done. That might be your campaign.
Right.
But until you do that, I don't trust that. And as a voter, I'm looking at it like, you know, I'm a man of my word. That's the way I am. So why can't you be the same? You know, why can't it be reciprocated where I keep my word with you and you keep your word with me? And that way, we form a bond that's strong in the community. Because then now I can trust you. Now I can believe that whatever I bring to your table, you're going to take a concern with. You're going to be like, hey, I understand what you're going through. You know, let me try to help out. But that's not what happens. That's not what happens on a regular basis.
Okay.
On a regular basis. And you should see her face, Ty. You should see. She said, okay. Okay, tell me what your thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Well, people have to realize in government, things only move by a majority vote. So, for instance, when I ran, my platform was code enforcement. And whenever I'm at a legislative meeting or a workshop meeting, I'm speaking on code issues, okay?
Right.
And legislative meeting, if there's some type of ordinance or code that need to be created and passed, I'll put that on the floor. But if I don't get the majority vote, it doesn't go through. So that means I can't do it by myself. But if I have the people there that witness, oh, she's doing what she said she was going to do, but she can't get nothing done because the other people, they don't want to vote for it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand completely what you're saying.
So you have to attend some of these meetings. You have to look at the minutes and see who voted for what type of motions was put on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll see who's actually walking the walk and who's actually just talking.
And that's a lot for people to understand. And thank you for breaking that down, because I don't think people understand what goes into progress. Like you said, one of the things that was important was, yes, your platform was code enforcement. And making sure things were up to code, making sure they need to be where they are. Safety factors as well. But if you don't have 6 other people voting the same way that you're voting, that's not going to get done.
Right.
And I mean that is democracy, but that's kind of like so if a building's about to collapse, and we got to take a vote on whether condemning this building or not condemning this building, and I got out of 6, I got 3 people that said it, or 2 people that said that, you know, we should condemn it, and the other ones are like, nah, we can just leave it up. Right. That building falls and hurts somebody. In the end, I'm looking like, that's obvious. Y'all should have voted for this. It's the obvious thing, right? So why didn't you? Why we just let the building fall? Right. And that's what it seems like. There's a lot of buildings that are falling. If you understand what I mean, right. It seems like there's a lot of things in her situation that's like. She might think that she feels that this is the most important thing, coding and enforcement. Right. But if that falls by the wayside, if everybody else doesn't think it's important, then they're not going to vote for it.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges that some of these council members or people running have. Yeah. There's the aspect of there's no unity. Like if you're trying to get something done and your other party members are against what you're trying to do, it hurts everybody.
It does.
You know?
It does.
And I feel as though there's too much division in politics. You got the far left, the far right. I don't care about none of that. Why don't you just come together and let's fix this problem right here?
But Todd, there's more. There's not even just division in far right, far left. There's division in their own party.
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, and primarily what we have to realize is the majority of our areas are left leaning. Left leaning mean they're more liberal leaning than they are conservative leaning.
See, now that kind of speech is what turns people off.
Well, see,
that don't understand.
And this is why the education of it is key.
Yeah.
Because it's a spectrum, right? There's a spectrum. In the middle is the centers. We go to the left, you're more liberal. You go to the right, you're more conservative, right? You go to the far right, you're more extreme. You go to the far left, you're probably hugging trees. Right. Okay? I'm just saying. So I'm sorry to my tree huggers out there. I'm just, I'm just saying, right? But you got to understand the spectrum. If you don't understand the political spectrum, you don't understand what you're really up against. Because in some sense, take Miss Liana, for example. Right. She goes in, she's fighting for her citizens, her constituents, to have the codes updated and have the codes correct. Yes. But she's in there fighting with people who don't think this is important. Who, matter of fact, they don't think it's important. Whatever she has to say is not important. And so when you have that kind of you have that kind of division, the community's never going to move forward. We're always going to be in the same place. We're always going to be the status quo. We're always going to be sitting there, angry and frustrated about why things are not changing. In politics, they always say politics change takes a long time. Civil rights movement, for example. Our people wanted to vote, but in their situation, the change to get their vote took years, took decades for them to even vote. So when you sit there and you look at that, I don't have enough time for change. Okay, I'm a black man. Right. My lifespan is not considered to be long. So the change that I need needs to be tomorrow. Right. Matter of fact, it needed to be yesterday. I can't wait another 10, 20 years for that to happen. Right? So, and I'm rambling. I'm sorry, Miss Leanne. I get on my tangents sometimes. But I mean, you can't have this type of system and it be productive for the citizens. You can't have it. It's not going to work. So again, my tangent. Sorry, family. I think that's the first one I'm gonna do for right now. All right, but go ahead, Ty. What you gonna say?
So, Miss Liana, I'm not there, but behind the scenes, when you see these challenges where there's division amongst your own peers, how do you address that?
It's very difficult.
Yes.
It's very difficult, especially when you're dealing with issues that are detrimental to people. Right. There's not a whole lot of time, for the back and forth. I mean, it's clear cut. Something as simple as, we need an ordinance for, abandoned cars. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to go back and forth. It's like pulling teeth just for everyone to understand why we should not have abandoned cars just sitting in your driveway. It's a public safety hazard. And it's a quality of life. I don't want to see dilapidated cars. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So it's very difficult. So the way I deal with it, I bring it to the forefront. I bring it to the public. And I will address the issue in front of the public. And I will allow my co-counselors to express how they feel about it. And how they feel speaks for itself.
All right. How do they feel, though?
When it doesn't get passed, what does it say?
That's how they feel.
Exactly. Exactly. They don't feel it important, and now the people know.
Yeah.
It's not this one or that one, but it's these individuals who are the problem.
Understood. Okay.
You understand? So it's about when people say they want to run for an elected office, they all start out with, I want to do better for the community. But then as soon as they get in, they forget. And they're not doing anything. They want to throw a bunch of parties. They want to give you a hot dog and a hamburger
Little community events, huh?
You understand what I'm saying?
Come on out, get the balloons,
and that doesn't help.
Yeah, get the balloons in the jump centers for the kids. All right, bring that out. Bring a DJ board, and we got it. We good, right?
Right, but that doesn't help the community. You want to feed them for a day.
Yeah.
I want to feed them for the year.
Yeah, see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
You teach a man how to fish, he's going to be able to eat for life.
Yep. I always say it's the equivalent of chasing that girl, and you've been chasing her, and you finally get her, and you stop doing the things you did before you got her. That's the way I look at it. Like, look at her. Look at she.
Yeah, well, it's not right.
I can't say nothing to that, right? But that's the analogy I would use in order to really, that's the way I feel about it.
Right.
But I mean, Ty, I couldn't imagine, and you know me, I'm watching your videos, Miss Liana, and I'm sitting there saying, like, but they think she outspoken. Don't put me on no seat. Them black folks probably be like, get this dude out of here, please. Don't let him come back, because I would be just like her.
Right. Well, sometimes you need complete constructive change.
You do.
Miss Liana's probably implementing that, and some people can't take it.
You do. If they had 3 of her on there, they would be a lot further ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you do need change. That's like, you can't. If I gotta wake you up, all right, I gotta do something. I gotta come shake you out the bed because y'all sleep. Y'all sleep. Y'all sleeping on the job, and I mean literally sleeping on the job. Yeah. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not taking care of your constituents, so you sleep. So in some way, shape, or form, I gotta wake you up. And if you don't like the way I wake you up, I mean, who likes to be waking up abruptly, right?
Right.
If you don't like that, that means you need to wake. I ain't talking about being woke, because I hate that word. Everybody's screaming about being woke. I'm woke. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Because if you weren't woke back 40 years ago, you missed out. Right. You was asleep, okay? Mm-hmm. But the whole point of it is we have to figure out how to wake them up. And one way to figure that out is to vote.
Okay.
Vote them out. That's how you wake them up. That's how you get an alarm. The alarm goes off then. Now you too late now. You voted out. But it's a learning lesson. And I don't think this is lessons that they want to really learn. I don't think it's lessons that they understand. I could write billions of stories about how dysfunctional it is. Does that mean it's going to change the dysfunction? No. We can sit and talk till we blue in the face. Does that mean it's going to change it? No. So what are we going to do? Vote them out. If we're not happy about something, if I'm not happy in my marriage, what do? I get a divorce. I don't stay in the marriage, right?
Right.
If I feel like my views are not being heard, I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to take action, whatever action I can, to change my circumstances, change my reality. So in a sense, for me, you got to vote. You got to vote them out. If you want change in your community and things are not going, things have been the same and they're not changing, you got to vote those people out.
For that to happen, people have to be educated.
Very much.
Political science, on the science of politics.
Very much.
I think they have to be educated first.
Absolutely.
Then they can make a sound decision.
Yeah.
For
sure.
For the proper vote on which candidate to vote for,
Yeah.
And that's what's missing, that political science being taught to the community. We don't have that. I mean, we're not taught the sciences of politics, war, religion, economics, education, entertainment. We're not taught those sciences.
No, but Miss Liana just gave the perfect step 101 political science.
Yes.
If it's not a majority rule, nothing moves.
Right.
Nothing passes.
And also, in addition to being educated with respect to, political science, unfortunately, people they want to be loyal to individuals that they know. So if my friend is running, I'm going to vote for my friend. Mm-hmm. I know my friend don't have no business in anybody's elected seat, but I'm going to vote for my friend because that's my friend. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that.
Right, and I mean, I can understand that in a community as the size, not just of Yeadon, but any other boroughs that's the same size. Like, it's a very everybody knows everybody type of environment. Right. So yeah, like if my friend, my boy who brought me some ribs last week is running, we had a great barbecue. He great to hang out with.
Right.
I'm gonna go vote for him.
Right.
He might be great to hang out with, but he's a horrible politician. That don't matter. But I still my boy, so I'm gonna go vote for him. I'm gonna support. You know how they say, Ty, you're going to support.
Right.
You're going to support. But I mean, I love my boys, right? I have great friends, but some friends I know they wouldn't be good for that position. Right. That wouldn't be the best suited for them.
Right.
And like for me, I couldn't be a police officer. I wouldn't be suited for it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be a good cop. Yeah, that's not my job, right?
Right.
But favoritism, nepotism.
Yes. Cronyism.
All the isms that come along with politics.
Yes.
Which is why people are turned off.
Right.
If you could just think about it, how many people would you say, and percentage wise, would you say in Yeadon voted last election? Percentage wise.
It wasn't a high percentage at all.
No.
We're talking 20, 30?
Maybe about 30. It wasn't a high percentage.
30% of the people voted. 30%. That's 70% who didn't. That's a lot of people.
Think it was such a, I guess, turnoff or?
I think it's a combination of things. Lack of education, one. And Yeadon is a older community as well. Mm-hmm. So there's a few things that's going on that, contributes to that low turnout. And, of course, the nonsense that they hear about. See, I said hear about.
Yeah, they hear about the nonsense. They don't necessarily
they listen to what they hear.
Yeah.
They don't find out for themselves what actually took place.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem as well.
Yeah.
Like I said before, we're so used to accepting crumbs. Mm-hmm. If someone offer us, a hot dog and a good time, we okay. I'm going to put you, we're always put in a position to struggle when others are put in a position of power.
Yeah.
And then when we finally get the opportunity to get in a position to make a change, we don't do it. Our heads swell up.
Yeah.
Now we want to get cute.
Yeah.
We want to be the boss.
Yeah. I hate that word.
Exactly.
I hate that word.
Me too.
I hate it.
And even now, when people see me and they may address me as counselor, I say, please don't do that. Especially if I'm not in chambers. Okay. Outside of chambers, I'm Liana. You understand? And those titles don't mean anything to me. My name is my title.
Yeah.
Now, if my name don't move you, a title's not going to move you. So I don't need it.
That's real.
So we really need to take it back to the basics. We need ground roots, grassroots, and we need to start speaking up. We have gotten complacent. The older ones who have been involved in the civil rights movement, and I mean, we had some speakers.
We did
back then.
We did,
and everybody was with it.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm afraid.
Oh, I mean, see, you talking about something, right? There are no speakers for our community or our generation right now.
We have some,
Ty,
but you don't hear them.
No,
you don't hear them.
Nobody's paying attention. I don't need to see Al Sharpton no more. And that's not. I know that's not who you're talking about. But I'm saying more just like, I mean, we come from an era of the dynamic speakers.
Right.
Even the Farrakhan's. Right. Even people don't like Farrakhan. Dynamic speakers.
That's what I mean. Those, but you don't hear them.
No, you don't hear them.
Well, I will say this. We have them, but those individuals aren't the ones we want to listen to.
No.
We want to listen to the ones that are popular. You understand? Yes. But we don't want to listen to the average person out there that is really saying something to you.
It's true.
That's our problem.
I mean, I know, Ms. Liana, you're not on social media, but if you scroll social media and you look at the things that people like on social media and the things that people don't like on social media, when I mean don't like, I mean don't click the like button, it's nothing positive. You know what I mean? It's nothing positive. Mm-hmm. It's not often about progression, not often about improving people. That positivity is not something that people really look to. They look for negativity.
Yes.
Negativity is entertaining. Mm-hmm. So I need to find as much negative stuff as I can to be entertained. So if, somebody comes on talking about coding and why coding is important, why being up to code is important, they might not, I don't want to hear nothing about no coding. What's she talking about? Not realizing that, bro, you live in a house? Are you renting? Really? If you're renting, I think you should know about the codes. Make sure your landlord is up to code. Make sure your electrics and your heating, all that stuff is correct. You should care about this. This is your livelihood every day. But that's not what's important.
Well, code is your quality of life. It's your quality of life. We all complain about, how things look, and while our certain neighborhoods look a certain way, that falls back on code enforcement. You understand? There's property maintenance codes and ordinances, not just in little old Yeadon, but Philadelphia as well.
Period.
I don't see the little code cars in Philadelphia riding around and saying, why this building is in violation, it's missing bricks, it's falling. Look at the lot filled with trash. You understand what I'm saying? And then we have residents living right next to it. So I will be upset living next to a lot that's filled with trash.
See, and Miss Liana isn't somebody that that's just lived in Yeadon her whole life. She lived in Philly. She had that experience, so she knows what Philly has to offer as far as that. What's it, 16 years?
I only been away from Philly for 16 years.
16 years? Ain't much change.
I know.
Ain't much change. I ain't gonna say it's still the same, but ain't much change. Much change. But I always find it interesting when you hear it from somebody who's sitting on the council, somebody who's sitting in your seat, because we as constituents, we always got stuff to say. We all listen. Why can't you just change it? Hurry up and change it. I don't understand. Just vote for it and change it. But that's not the way it is.
It's not that easy.
It's not the way it works.
No.
Which is why we go back to it. It's vital that people vote. Yeah. It's vital that people vote. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about voting and what else is on the ballot besides names. So what is your vote worth? What other components are in your vote than just a name of a person that's there? And your vote for some people it could be, I need to get my electricity bill down. For some people it could be, I need to pay my water bill. I need these gas prices to go down. Whatever it may be. Everyone has a different reason as to why they're voting. It's not just I'm voting for this name. There's a reason why you go to the ballot. There's a reason. So I'm going to talk to you about those reasons. But family, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Remember, you can call us with your comments or questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Listen to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia.
You're listening to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast right here on WPEB 88.1 FM,
and welcome back to Jimmy Bonds Podcast right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia. Family, remember, you can call us with your comments and your questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And again, family, we'll continue our project, Every Voice, Every Vote. Luckily enough to be joined here by Miss Liana Roadcloud. She is the vice president of the Council of the Yeadon Borough. She actually just dropped some bars, as me and Ty say. Drop some knowledge, drop some jewels. People, they need that. You need them bars in your life. You don't have no bars in your life, something wrong with you. You got to get them. You got to get them. They feed the soul. But before we took the break, I was talking to Miss Liana about the importance of what else is on that ballot other than those names. A lot of times people just see names. I see James Smith, Julie Cartwright, but there's so much more on there than just a name. What do you think is the other additional components on that ballot?
Are you asking physically?
I mean, physically, no. This is just names on paper. It's just names on a piece of paper. That's what really it is. But really, in
Overall sense.
Overall sense of it. What's behind that vote? What's behind that ballot?
What's behind the ballot? It basically is, what does that name stand for?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What does that name stand for? When that name is verbalized, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Right.
If you have a name that's verbalized to you and nothing comes to mind, you didn't hear of anything that person has done.
That's true.
So if you don't know what they have done, how can you vote for that person? That's why it's important before you go to the polling place to do your research on the names.
What you say?
Research.
Wait. Time out. Hold on. Hold on, Ty.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on, Ty.
Survey said.
I love my people. I love my people.
That's my biggest thing. Research.
I love my people.
I will
Ty,
research
listen,
until there's no.
He is Dr. Research. This is Doctor.
Research.
This boy researches. I thought I researched bad. No, this dude is.
If it's out there, I will find it.
He will. He'll dig deep in it. He'll go down to the Library of Congress and put the white gloves on and do the research. Okay.
I will, yes.
I'm talking about research, right?
Yes.
But that word, oh my goodness, like we gotta research.
Me too.
We gotta inform ourselves of what we getting into.
Yes.
And because listen, we getting into it.
Yeah.
So because when you vote and it go the other way, now you into it.
Exactly.
So it's like we have to learn about the importance of who you're voting for. Who is that person? What they stand for? What beliefs do they have? You know what I always say, what's your philosophy? And I use philosophy a lot because I like the word, first of all. But second of all, because it tells your mindset. It talks about what kind of person you are. You know, I can sell you anything. Anybody can be a hustler and sell you anything. It's the one that follows through in the end that you end up believing. You know, if I can sell you water and tell you it's cold but it's hot, I'm a great salesman. But if I can sell you water and tell you it's cold and it's really cold and you're refreshed from thirst, oh, now I got you. You know, and that's what I think more than anything else. Like they don't back up nothing they say.
Right.
They don't back it up.
Some that do. Some of them do. Some of them.
But some of them are also handcuffed, which I understand.
Yes,
you know, not like Donald Trump handcuffed, but I mean handcuffed like they can't do any. They can't make the moves they need to make. Right. And Brother Dave said something. We was in a break, and I think this is what we got to do, Ty. You do got to make voting. Brother Dave said we got to make voting like a fad, make it like something real cool, right? Something cool everybody can get into. You know, if voting was Gucci, everybody would vote, right? I mean Gucci, I'm Gucci. I'm talking about the designer Gucci, right? If voting was Nikes, you know, everybody would vote. And I say that because those are cool. That's what people think are cool. So if we can equate that to voting, oh, boy, we be killing it.
It's cool to vote.
It's cool to vote.
It's cool to vote.
It is cool to vote. I mean, I don't think it's. Listen. If you don't vote, don't take this next line out of context. It's not cool not to vote. You know, it's cool to vote, but if you don't vote, then what you got to say? That's what I always say, Ty. If you're not voting, where's your voice?
Right.
You know, what are you doing? I see Miss Liana over here pondering, right? I can see her. I can see her wheels turning. What you got? What you got?
I understand. You do have. It's a shame that you have to make it cool.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you have to do that, but it's the reality.
It is.
You know, I feel like we don't think highly of ourselves.
Wait. What? What'd she say? Brother Ty, what she say?
I say that all the time.
We don't think highly of ourselves. Because if we thought highly of ourselves, just knowing that our voice is worth something, we would be at those polling places every time a vote comes out.
Yeah.
I know my voice is worth something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull that lever. I'm going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think highly of me. I think highly of my life. I'm important.
But no, we don't think we're important. We think we're important, but we don't think we're important, right? And you're like, what are you talking about? So we think we're important. We'll post a picture on social media, you know, dolled up, do the whole thing, makeup, whole thing, and I'm important, right? I at least look like I'm important.
You have some followers.
Yeah, you got followers, you got likes. All right, you got likes, you got followers. But in the grand scheme of things, what is really popping? No, you don't really think you're that important. Because if you thought you were that important, you would focus on some other things. Right. You know, that Instagram picture is one thing. I'm talking more about your like Councilwoman Liana said, more about your everyday life. Yeah. You know what I mean? What affects your everyday life? What affects my everyday life? I mean, I always say, I wake up in the morning, I spend $20. Right? Everybody's like, well, how do you do that? Because I got to pay for these things that surround me. If I could find a way to save that $20 in the morning, I'm golden. Right. And if my vote got me to that point, even better, right? Yeah. So in some way, shape, or form, you're completely right. We don't think highly of ourselves. We don't take ourselves seriously enough to say, hey, you know, not just our vote matters, but my voice matters. How I feel about certain things matter. You know, you have people sometimes that get up 4 o'clock in the morning and go stand at the bus stop, right? Right. It's cold, in the cold, or better yet, in the heat, or in the rain, or whatever. There's nothing no patio or balcony, nothing they could just walk, well, I don't mean balcony, but anything they could just walk under and stand there. A shelter, exactly. And I'm sure if they brought that to the council, that would be something that maybe the council would have to consider. I have constituents and citizens in my town who wake up in the morning, cold, dark, and dead of morning, as they would say. I go there, and there's nothing for them to protect them while they're in those elements. Right. And that might seem so small to us, but it's huge to that person standing for waiting for that bus. Or better yet, maybe they have the power to get the scepter and say, "Hey, can you run some more buses for us?" Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just my thinking, right? That's just if I was a politician, I'm telling you, they would not like me, Ty.
Yeah, you'd be kicked out.
I wouldn't care though. I wouldn't care. I'd still be out there in the streets ripping and running. Like, let's get it, right? But because I told you my platform, right? Yes. My platform, 4-day work week. That's my platform. Everybody know 4-day work week. That's Jimmy Brown's platform, 4-day work week. All right, because we all need 3 days off. 3 days off, boy, I'm a much better person. Excuse me. Anyway, I think we have to value more of who we are as a community. Yes. In order for our vote and our voice to be important, right? I think our ancestors, the ones that came before us, who probably couldn't live in Yeadon back then. Okay, am I speaking? Am I read between the lines? Who couldn't live in Yeadon back then? I think they're the ones who thought highly of themselves. You know, and that's not just black pride. You know, black power. I'm talking about they felt highly about themselves, whether they were smart, they had money, or they didn't have money. They cared about their quality of life, which is why they always felt like we needed to vote. You know, this ain't just people in the South I'm talking about. Right. Like, because Pennsylvania is just one of the most racist states there are as well. People don't get it twisted, okay? All right, don't get it twisted. Pennsylvania, you got Philadelphia, and you got Pittsburgh, and in between, they call it Alabama. All right, and this is the old saying. This ain't me. This is OGs telling me this. Okay, and when you think about that and what they had to contend with, why wouldn't we feel highly about ourselves? What they've already done, what they've already accomplished. You know, we don't have silver spoons. We swear we do. Right. We swear that everything is okay now. You know what I mean? Everything is just great and grand. Right. And as a black person in America, I can do anything I want to do. Well, clearly, that's not the case. You know, and we are 60 years back. As much as everybody be like, well, you know, it's 2023. I can't believe this. Like, no, bro. We still in 1967.
Technology has changed that. You don't have to work as hard as you used to. True. You can sit home and watch TV, flip through 100 channels. Yep. You don't have to go out into the public no more. You know, you don't have to. You can do everything from home. You can. You can order your food from home. You can have it delivered. You can work from home. I can order my. I don't have to leave my house for anything. If I got a job and I'm working from home, I don't have to go nowhere. I can order my food in. I can even call somebody in and watch my kids. You get what I mean? I don't have to do that. That's technology. But philosophy-wise, it plays a part because now you're getting those images put into your head
all day long, all day long,
technology.
All day long, and it's almost like it's blinded us from what's really important and what's really vital, not just for our community, but for our livelihood. I don't like the fact that we don't value who we are as a community. I like the fact that we don't think about the things that our community's already done, what we've already accomplished. We forget that. We just act like it's just okay. And that's why I think, bringing it right back to voting, they did so much for us that we don't even realize. I mean, God forbid, okay? God rest my mom. She passed, was a teacher, taught me all this black history. God forbid that I didn't use what she taught me, not just to my advantage, but to help others, to show others there are examples of this already happening. Y'all just don't want to, y'all don't know about it. Matter of fact, I don't know if you even care about it. Too bad, I don't care you don't care. It's already been done. And we have examples. So in some way, shape, or form, we have to figure out how to make them feel like they're important, how to make them value who they are. And how do you do that? Ty, how would you do that? I don't know how I would do it.
It's a challenge. Like, again, like Ms. Liana, you said that Yeadon has a lot of it's older community.
Yes.
So you also mentioned that, I'm not saying it's a challenge, but I guess it's a challenge for them to come out and vote, or they feel as though they don't.
It's a challenge for most to come out and vote. And also there is a disconnect between the older residents and the younger residents.
Okay.
It's a big disconnect. I remember when I first moved to Yeadon, people looked at me as if I was an alien.
Because you are. As they see now, right?
And I would hear it when, every time I would, voice my concerns, oh, these people coming from the city. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, where are you from?
That's what they say, though.
That's what they say. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean,
like they lived in Yeadon their whole life.
Right. But it's like they look at the ones that are moving in now, they're the troublemakers. Mm-hmm. And they're causing all of these problems. They look at me as the troublemaker. Initially, I was Beelzebub. Okay, I was Beelzebub.
Well, what John Lewis say? That was that good trouble, though? That ain't bad trouble. That's good trouble.
Until people actually stopped and listened to what was actually being said, and they saw for themselves. I mean, it's been times where I would just put pictures of all the blight that I came across, and now people are like, oh, wow. Yeah, the same ones that said, she's from the city, bringing all this trouble.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you make a person want better? I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to live next to a house that's dilapidated and filled with trash in its front yard. Why would my neighbor want to live next door to someone like that? I don't know. What can you do to make a person just want better? Maybe we have been so conditioned to not want better. And when we're given a little bit of crumbs, we're like, oh, wow, we made it.
Yep.
We have come far, but we still have a long way to go.
Long way to go.
And we don't even peep it.
Nope, we don't. Dr. King said he had a dream, and that I guess it died when he died.
I guess it did.
For some. For others, they keep the fight going on. They keep hope alive. No offense to Jackson. I'm just saying, like, this is what it is. How do you get somebody to believe in them, to want more for themselves when they don't want more for themselves? I don't think you can. So, in a sense, in that case, do you forget them? Are they not important?
No.
That's exactly. They are important.
Yeah.
So even if they come along at the end, it's still important they come along.
Right.
Right. So even if they, I say like this: people follow crowds. So if you're able to create a crowd around an important topic, other people are going to join in. As weird as that is, that's just behavioral, right? So if, take an example, something happened in Yeadon. Everybody was up in arms about it. It might have been negative, but everybody was up in arms about it. If we could take the same thing for something positive and have people up in arms about something that needs to change, why couldn't we?
We absolutely can.
I think we can too.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, but I'm always up for a challenge. I've always been the type that don't challenge me. Please don't. Don't challenge me. Cause tell them, Ty, don't challenge me. Cause I'm going to come at the challenge. All right? Like I think I was born like, yo, challenge me. Come on, God, I got you. Do it, and I'm gonna win. But challenges make us who we are.
Right.
How many challenges have we had as Black people? It's a challenge. We wake up in the morning. Challenge. So if we can't be afraid of the challenge.
No.
We have to be patient with the challenge as well. We can't just be like, wow, if you ain't getting it now, you ain't never gonna get it. You gotta be patient with those people. You gotta set the tone, set the example, and watch them follow it. And they might not follow it tomorrow. They might not follow it next week. Give them some time. They'll find out what's important.
You have to be consistent.
You do. And consistency is the most vital thing. We have to be consistent. We got to be consistent with the message about voting. We got to be consistent with the message about what we're voting for. We got to be consistent with the message that we relate to our people as to why voting is important. I don't think people are consistent enough with that. Voting comes every 2 years. After those 2 years are over, people forget about it. It's not important no more. No more voting. I voted. I'm done. I'm going home. You know what I mean? No. Like, here it is, November the 7th, right? That's the next election day here in Philly.
Right.
Probably in some counties too. I think Upper Darby is the same thing.
Yes.
So come before November 1 to the 7th, and definitely now in October, you're going to see so many ad campaigns just out there. You're going to be watching TV and be like, I'm so sick of these ads.
Right.
After November 7th, they stop.
Right.
They don't tell you about your local leaders what they're doing. They don't continue that conversation to say, hey, you know what your state rep did? You know how they voted? That's how you educate them. Mm-hmm. Keep them informed, consistently keep them informed. Right. Not just voting season, but the whole season.
Right.
2 years go by like that. You look up, here comes another election. I'm like, dang, I thought we was just in this. Now we back in it again. And every place you live, it's a different election each year. So every 2 years, you're going to vote state rep, mayors, whatever, for the council. Great, you're going to vote that. Then 2 years later, then you're voting for your congressperson, you're voting for your senator, you're voting for your governor.
Right.
And you're probably president at the same time. So every 2 years, you're voting. You're voting again every 2 years. It's like having to get your license renewed. You got to do that every 4 years. Yeah. But you got to vote every 2 years. So why not stay informed? Why not research?
Right.
Why not figure out, like, yo, why does light keep being out down here? What's going on with this light? My kids running around here. These dudes running through here with these cars. I need to talk to somebody about this. Go find out who your state rep is so they can adjust these things. And go find out who your city council person is so they can adjust these things. And again, I can ramble on about this forever. I don't mean to listen, my soapbox is my soapbox, but I got to get off of that joint sometimes. Anyway, so Miss Liana, before we talking about decorum, right? And I hate the word decorum because decorum impedes progress. It stops progress from happening. If anybody remembers what happened with those state reps in Tennessee, they were kicked out of Tennessee's state assembly because of decorum. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Decorum doesn't get us anywhere. All right? So do you think decorum or progress is more important?
Progress.
Is progress something that is like talked about, or is it happening consistently? Like something we can't see, you know what I mean? On a day-to-day basis. Maybe you can't see the progress.
You can see some progress. Some progress is absolutely tangible. You can see it.
Yeah.
Going back to code enforcement. If you have overgrown grass on a commercial property, which happens to be on one of your gateways, on your way home.
Yeah.
And now you see it's all mowed and dialed up. That's progress, right?
Yeah, it's true.
If you had a dilapidated car sitting in a common driveway and now it's gone, it's progress. If you have some extra policemen walking in the community, that means somebody hired them. That's progress.
Yep. Yep.
When you can have your website look more like a professional website, when you're trying to reach out to your elected officials.
She's not talking about nothing there. Don't worry.
That's progress, right?
Sure.
So you can absolutely see some forms of progress.
No, you're right. It is
Other progress includes when you have, as an elected official, you should always work with your other elected officials, your state reps, your state senators, so you can bring resources into your community. So when you have a relationship and you're working on bringing monies into your community, that's progress. But you don't necessarily see it.
Yeah.
But it's progress. A conversation was had. It was a positive result. And as a result, we're going to get some monies that's going to go towards maybe a recreation center or some sort of development in a community.
Yeah.
That's progress.
Yeah, that's real. That's true. I mean, that's progress. I mean, that's progress in my eyes, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you've done a lot of that, haven't you?
I try. When it comes to code enforcement, I'm on top of it.
Listen, man, she know her stuff. She know her stuff.
I raise a lot of noise when it comes to code violations.
And you should.
Because it directly affects your quality of life, be it your safety, be it emotional, physical, it affects everything about your life.
It does.
So if I see something that I know is a negative effect towards people, I'm going to speak on it.
What was the first thing you saw? We talked about this. What's one of the first things you saw in Yeadon that made you be like, hey, I got to get in this code enforcement? I don't like that.
A shopping cart. A shopping cart.
Somebody's house?
No, it was actually on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And that sent me over the edge.
It's true, though, man. Listen. Pennsylvania, a lot of our cities and stuff, or our towns, we live right next to each other. And in some aspects, they would say we live on top of each other, right? But with the saying that, you want to have, when you come out your house, you want to see nice looking things. Mm-hmm. You want to see the grass cut. Mm-hmm. You want to see the cars, not like you said, like not abandoned cars sitting in front of your house. You want to see the sidewalks paved, But for some people, they don't really care about that kind of stuff.
I have neighbors like that.
Tyler, don't get me started about no neighbors now.
I have a lot. So I have an empty lot next door to my house, right? And when they tore the house down, me and the neighbor on the other side said, we're going to put a fence up. Neighbors are not going to be able to get inside the lot, but we'll just take care of it. Mm-hmm. He moved on. Somebody else moved in. I still take care of the lot. It gets cut. I don't cut it. Somebody comes and cut it for me. Now, my neighbors to the left, we call them the triflings, okay? The trash is outside in front of the house. That's trash, open trash. The cats are in it. And in summertime, there's flies. You can barely open your door because flies are going to get into your house, Nobody from the city comes out there and gives them a ticket.
Nope.
Nobody. It only happened one time during the summer. And they was like, why are they giving tickets out? And my wife was like, because you got that trash sitting out in front of your door with all the flies in it,
But you're paying for that service. Yeah. Your tax dollars pay for that service. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it only came out once, yes.
So you have every right to raise sand about that because you're not getting what you're paying for. Mm-hmm. So what's really happening? Are you being robbed? They're stealing your money because you're paying, but you're not giving me what I'm supposed to get in exchange.
Service, right, okay.
So that's L&I, license and inspection.
I told you.
But it's not enough people that will hold the city departments accountable.
Mm-hmm.
We have the power to do that.
We do.
Anytime we can go to a major basketball game or one of those, tournaments, and I'm not into sports like that, but up and down Broad Street, and everybody's hooping and hollering when Philadelphia wins or whatever. Yes. We can do the same thing when it comes to what we are entitled to in exchange for our tax dollars.
And they clean those streets up after those parades and everything.
Oh, they sure do.
Okay.
That's why tax dollars go to.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure do, yeah.
So I know all about it. I know all about it.
Like
but we need more people to speak up. Hold the city accountable. We're paying them.
Understood, yes.
I don't like for people to take my money.
No, neither do I. Like neither do I. If I'm paying taxes, you got to do something with it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm gonna stop paying these taxes. We could just, we can leave everything the way it is. I mean, honestly, then that's what it should be, right?
Right.
And
take care of yourself.
Listen, as much money as we got to put out for taxes, yes. If we just like, all right, I'm not paying taxes no more. Everybody stop paying taxes until they start fixing stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't pay another dime in taxes. Mm-hmm. Watch what happens.
And you know what? Someone
watch what happens.
Someone owns that property. Someone still owns that property. That property is owned by someone.
Well, the city had it available for $9,000. And if you wanted to pay $9,000 for the lot, you can go down to the city, I guess the city hall.
Right.
But nobody went down there.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe somebody needed. Then the city owns it.
Yep.
The city owns it, and they should keep it up. Mm-hmm. They should keep it up.
And they should give you a refund for all the upkeep you keep on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Better yet, go down there and see if you can purchase it.
Oh, not a bad idea.
All right. Yeah.
Making her
look into it.
Not a
you
bad
said
idea.
for $9,000, listen, that's real estate.
Especially in hot Philly. Ooh, hot Philly. Real estate.
You
hot,
know.
You might be able to get help with that.
Yeah, you probably would.
Exactly.
Yeah, you probably would. No, don't worry, Ty. Yeah, buy it. I'll go put your tent out that joint.
You waiting for one of those big developers to come in?
Because they coming. They coming from New York. That's where they coming from. Yeah, goodness. And, even with you talking about that, that's an element of something I think people don't think about as far as voting. Mm-hmm. There should be laws. There should be laws on the books about developers coming to cities and developing cities. Or developing neighborhoods, shall I say. Yep. There should be laws in the books because there are too many communities that are changing so rapidly, not just because of cost of living, but because these developers are coming in and don't care about the communities they're changing. I'd love to have one sitting here right next to me, have them explain to me, like, what's more important to you than money? You know what I mean? Because that's all it seems like. It's all about money. Let me flip this, make this next 50,000, and do this again. It's the whole process for them. It's where they can make their next quick 100,000, whatever they can make, whatever flip. Mm-hmm. And you're losing the value of those communities. Communities, and particularly even in West Philly, that hold so much value. People have generationally been raised in these communities. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, you throw your hands up in the air.
You can't even afford to stay.
No, you can't. The taxes are too high. Cost of living is too high. That's why, guess where they're moving, Ty? They moving to the county.
Yep.
They moving to Yeadon. They moving to Upper Darby. They moving to Darby. They moving to Chester. They moving to Marcus Hook. That's where they moving. They moving to Drexel Hill, Clifton Heights, Alden. I can keep going. That's where they moving because the cost of living in the city is too much. And if you don't think your vote in this situation matters, it definitely matters.
It absolutely matters.
It definitely matters. Like you said, your quality of life is definitely on the ballot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely is on the ballot. Tell me this: what do you think, or why do you think local leaders are not as engaged with the younger generation as they should be?
They don't feel it necessary,
and that's the problem. That's the future right there. When them leaders dead and gone, these are the ones that's going to be coming in. That's the problem.
The interaction most local leaders have with the younger generation includes like a party or school bag giveaway, haircuts, something of that nature. We need something that's more substantive.
But it's so pacifying. It's so pacifying.
Yeah.
And we got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about that because, you know, what's the name of that movie? What's that movie with Denzel Washington I love so much? American Hustler. And in American Hustler, you can see Bumpy Johnson. Thanksgiving comes. He comes, opens up the truck. He's giving out turkeys. That is no different than what these politicians do.
That's right.
It's the exact same thing. Let's pacify them. Let's show them a little bit so we can keep them at bay. So listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this time. Anyway, remember, you can call us with your comments or questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JINNYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You listen to Jimmy Bond's podcast right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM.